All right, it's Friday. We are in the building. Y'all know what to do. It's that time. Drop a 1 in the chat if you can hear me. Drop a 1 in the chat. You can see me. We should be good to go. Thank you to everybody who is in here getting ready for the show on this Friday. Hopefully y'all are staying warm. Hopefully everybody's doing well, because I know here in Atlanta, we about to get it. It is about to be crazy with this winter storm, this ice storm that's coming through. So if y'all think of it, pray for everybody that's going to be impacted by this winter storm and ice storm that's sweeping across a lot of the Northeast and the East Coast. It's going to be wild out here, and we'll be praying for y'all that are dealing with it already. Well, we got a big show for you today. Of course, we're going to talk about what's been going on with this whole Don Lemon situation and some of the other protesters who were arrested as a result of this church invasion. That's what I'm calling it, because, well, I can't imagine if this were my church. I would not be happy. Also, we're going to get into some more updates about the Tyler Robinson situation. We're going to hear from some experts there. And then we may actually get to hear from Brendan Banfield. Yes, Brendan Banfield has decided to take the stand, which is absolutely wild. Again, he might not have anything to lose at this point, but I don't see the benefit, in my opinion. We'll have to wait and see how that plays out. Hopefully we'll get to it here on this live stream, and I'll keep an eye on court proceedings and see how that goes and when he gets up there. But before we get into it, I gotta say what's up to the people, man. The folks who make the show the great place that it is. Thank you to everybody who's in here, and happy Friday. We've got my beautiful, awesome, amazing Amy E is in here, of course, doing what she does. That's be amazing. Make sure if y'all haven't yet, go check out Amy's channel, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you don't miss any time she drops a new video or goes live. Some great content over there. Taco Tuesday is in the building. Good to see you. Mr. Brown's in here. We've got Virginia Wiley is back at it. A-Fits is up in this thing as well. So good to see y'all. And we're going to go ahead and get right into the video and right to the content. But before I do, if y'all could, I do not ask for much on the show, but the one thing I ask is that you please like the video on your way in. Likes are free, helps the channel continue to grow, lets the algorithm know you guys are enjoying the show, shares the video, the channel, and this live stream with more people. So thank you again to everybody that's done that, has done that so far. Over 400 of you have liked the video. Thank y'all. Thank y'all. It's free. Why not? Noah's in the building too. What's up, Noah? Y'all bear with me. I got some congestion that I'm dealing with. It seems like everybody's sick in the house. So y'all pray for him. Everybody is coming down with something. Usually I'm the one that fights things the quickest and the fastest. And it seems to be the case there, but still dealing with some congestion and sniffles. So we gonna work through it. Y'all know we can't miss a show. That's what we do here. So let's go ahead and get to the content. Happy Friday to you, Noah. Good to see you. So if you haven't heard, there's a situation that was going on in Minnesota with this whole operation that's being done by ICE. And there has been the Renee Good, we'll call it, situation that happened where she was shot and killed by an ICE agent. Now we've got the situation just happened over the last couple of days with Don Lemon and several other protesters we talk about, Nekima Armstrong, and we're going to get into several others in a later video. Another incident that's being reported, and it was said that a 5-year-old child was detained by ICE. Now, y'all know, facts over feelings here, not loyal to one side or the other. We just want to get the facts. So what was being reported at the time was that this child was taken by ICE, and then they were trying to use that child to actually get to the father who was in the country illegally and potentially committed some crimes. Now we're going to get to the actual story and see what's being reported here. We're going to hear from the Attorney General and several others who were involved in the situation. Check it out.
Top story tonight, images of a 5-year-old boy who was in ICE custody in Columbia Heights continue to cause some powerful outrage.
And we now know where that boy is and what led up to him being taken by federal agents. Our Maury Glover joins us now. And Maury, district officials and the vice president have really opposing views about what happened. Walk us through it.
Well, the vice president says federal agents had no choice but to take the boy after detaining his father. But district officials who were on the scene tell a different story.
This picture of Liam Ramos being detained by ICE is sparking a war of words over what really happened to the 5-year-old student at Lakeview Elementary School in Columbia Heights. Witnesses say the boy was taken into custody along with his father in their driveway after arriving home from preschool on Tuesday. Dang. And that federal agents tried to use Liam as bait to get his mother, who was inside the home, to let them in.
Mom was there. She saw out the window and Dad was yelling, Please do not open the door.
But DHS officials say Liam wasn't being targeted by ICE and that his father abandoned him while trying to get away from federal agents.
Well, that's a little bit different than the story that was being told initially.
And then when they went to arrest his illegal alien father, the father ran. So the story is that ICE detained a 5-year-old. Well, what are they supposed to do? Are they supposed to let a 5-year-old child freeze to death?
An attorney says Liam and his father entered the U.S. lawfully from Ecuador in 2024 and have a pending asylum case. He says Liam's father doesn't have a criminal record in Minnesota, and he believes the two are being held together at a federal facility in San Antonio, Texas.
Yeah, can you imagine?
The fear that was generated, the terrorizing of the children and the community, that's just horrifying.
District officials say Liam is one of 4 children from Columbia Heights who've been taken by ICE over the last few weeks. And witnesses who were there dispute DHS's version of events, saying there were plenty of adults around who could have taken care of Liam instead of taking him to a detention center.
The onslaught of ICE activity in our community is inducing trauma and is taking a toll on our children, taking a toll on our families, our staff, our community members.
Now, the attorney for Liam's family hasn't had a chance to speak with them in Texas yet, but he says he's reviewing several legal options to get them out. Back to you.
I get, again, maybe in this case, there's more that could have been done by ICE, but if the parents there illegally and the child suffers consequences because of that, do you blame ICE? Who do you blame in this situation? Do you blame the parent? It's a tough one to be in. And also, we've got this from Representative. We've got Anna Paula Luna. She said this beautiful little boy was abandoned when the father fled on foot. Stop lying to the American people. Because the original post said by the Democrats over on X that ICE arrested a 5-year-old coming home from preschool. Always sensationalizing things. This clearly, I can't imagine a 5-year-old being arrested. But yes, they did post this and made it seem like this is what happened and tried to use him as bait. His teacher describes him as a bright young student. These monsters are sick, talking about ICE. And then, of course, you know, ICE had something to say about this situation and the lies that were being told. This is an abject lie, meaning that the 5-year-old was detained. The child was abandoned by his father, a criminal illegal alien from Ecuador who fled from our officers. Our officers ensured the child was safe. Does your heart also ache for the thousands of families who have lost loved ones to violent, criminal, illegal alien murderers? Oh, dang. You haven't tweeted about those, and they're talking about their families. This, of course, was tweeted by Hillary Clinton, not knowing all the facts and probably not caring, to be honest. Now, we also have a spokesperson who's going to talk about briefly what went down in this situation, give some more detail. ICE agents took the 5-year-old boy in Minnesota to McDonald's and played his favorite music to comfort him. The fake news said that he was detained by ICE. Doesn't make sense. The reality was he was abandoned and saved by ICE. You can't hate them enough. Good on these ICE agents. Here we go.
And this is a horrific smear that we're seeing the mainstream media and politicians on the left, including Kamala Harris, take and run with. The facts are actually that this little boy was abandoned by his own father. His own father was being approached by ICE agents when he ran and abandoned the child. Our law enforcement in these frigid temperatures stayed with the child, tried to bring him into custody with the mother, who actually would not take the child into custody, which is so sad, so horrific. Our law enforcement officers actually were taking care of the child, brought him to McDonald's, were playing his favorite music to really calm him down. This is, as Mark, there's major riots forming around our law enforcement officers. That is horrendous that the child is having to face this, but our law enforcement officers were taking care of him, and he's now reunited with his father in a federal processing facility. And this is.
And again, these processing facilities have existed for years and years and years and years. So this isn't something new. It happened in several different administrations. We're not going to get into the political side of things, but it's interesting to see how this played out. And also another interesting side note is something I wanted to share with you guys. I didn't even know this existed, but it's an interesting note about the current administration somewhat incentivizing people who are dealing with their immigration status or entered illegally and they're scared to remove themselves from the country. There apparently is a program by the United States that incentivizes people to go back to their country if they are here illegally. Check this out. 2 million illegal immigrants self-deported in the past year as the Trump administration ups its exit bonus incentive. A staggering 2.2 million illegal immigrants voluntarily self-deported since January of last year, as Secretary of Homeland Security Kristi Noem said. To celebrate 1 year of this administration, and the U.S. taxpayer is generously increasing the incentive to leave voluntarily for those in the country illegally, offering a $2,600 exit bonus. Dang. I might even take it and go and come back. Y'all, excuse me. 2,600 exit bonus, Noem announced. Illegal aliens should take advantage of this gift and self-deport, because if they don't, we will find them, we will arrest them, and they will never return. Previously, the Trump administration offered a $1,000 bonus for illegal immigrants to voluntarily leave the country since January of 2025. And then we read that already. Shout out to Kristi Noem. I did not know this even existed. Dang, I might need, I mean, hey, 2,600 is 2,600. Nearly 3 million illegal immigrants have been deported overall during President Trump's first year in office. And the Department of Homeland Security said the 2.2 million voluntary exits dwarfs the 675,000 deportations through more aggressive means, such as being forced out by Immigration and Customs Enforcement, or ICE. To aid the self-deportation efforts, the Trump administration has repurposed the CPB One phone app last year, which was used under the Biden administration to schedule asylum appointments, into a self-deportation tool. Interesting. Noem claimed that tens of thousands have since used the reworked program. In the last year, fentanyl trafficking at the border has also been cut by more than half compared to the same period in 2024. That's called cool. We're really not talking about that. We get the gist of why they're doing this. Meanwhile, we have saved taxpayers $13.2 billion here at DHS. She went on, countless of lives have been saved, communities have been strengthened, and the American people have been put first again. Over the past year, border crossings have plummeted dramatically. Last December, there were 10,000 encounters at the Southwest land border, down from 96,000 December of 2024. Jeez. According to the data from the U.S. Customs and Border Patrol, in December 23, the numbers were down as well. And they talked about how great this administration is, of course. I don't know what's going on with the New York Post, because I definitely thought they were a left-leaning news media company. But apparently they're giving some props here. Interesting thoughts. Let me know what you guys think about this 5-year-old being detained, and now he's with his father. I wonder what was going on with the mother not wanting to keep him. And it makes sense that even though the ICE agents are the one conducting this, that they wouldn't just hand over the child to someone, because can you imagine they give the child to the wrong person, someone who shouldn't have them? Then that creates a whole nother mess. Let me know what y'all think about this in the comments in the chat. Shout out to the gang. Thank y'all, man. I'm up here. Oh, Lord. I'm trying. We gonna make it through. I apologize. We gonna make it through. We gonna figure it out. Interesting. It's always interesting to me to see how these reports come out and what's being said by a lot of these media outlets. And then to not even backtrack and say, hey guys, we got it wrong. That's my fault. I apologize. We had the information wrong. That happens. That's happened on this channel. It's, you know what? That's not the person I thought it was. I apologize. I got it wrong. So why are these media outlets so dead set on giving the wrong information? And is it that important to push the narrative? I don't know. Give me 1 second. I'm trying to keep it professional here and push through, y'all. We're going to make it happen. Noah asked a question. What did Noah say in the chat? He said, did you hear that Ryan Wedding was arrested last night? Who is... I don't know who that is, but we can look it up. Who is Ryan Wedding? Oh, yeah, the Olympic guy. I did hear about that. The name just didn't click. Yeah, apparently he was involved in some drug trafficking or something like that. Yeah, we're probably going to have to talk about that one on the next show because I got to do a little bit more research before we get into it. Yeah, saying he was dealing with drugs. That is wild. Always something new going on. And again, this is just the latest in what kind of distraction can we talk about today? Because, I mean, let's be real. A lot of this is just, a lot of it has been happening. It's just the way things are being done now. It's used to paint the narrative that some things are being done wrong, even when previous administrations have done something similar or even worse. But of course, you know, we're not going to talk about that. We can't have equal. Sure, we're good. Can y'all still hear me? Hold on. Can y'all drop a 1 in the chat? I think we disconnected for a second. Just want to make sure we're good. Okay, we're good. Okay, thank y'all. Jeez. Hey, what's up, Brock? Brock is in the building. Good to see you, mate. Okay, we're good. So we've been talking about everything that's been going down with the fallout from this church situation where Don Lemon and several others went to this church and harassed the people who were there just trying to worship, as they should be able to. So we talked about Nekima Armstrong. She was the first one arrested. She blatantly came out and said, I don't care what y'all say. I was doing what I was supposed to do. I have a constitutional right to be there and protest. And then she got arrested. Now we're seeing 2 other people who were involved in the alleged planning and organization of this have been arrested as well. We're going to talk about William Key and another individual we're going to get into here shortly. And that is going to be Chauntyll Allen. Now, who is Chauntyll Allen? How is she involved? We're going to get into that in a second. Chauntyll obviously worked with BLM and worked with everyone organizing this situation. Allegedly. I'll say allegedly. But she was also a school board member, this says, and she has been arrested for her role in storming the church. And you can see her in the video that we covered when Don Lemon was documenting everything. She is listed on the SPPS news site. They must hold an emergency meeting to dismiss her immediately if she doesn't resign. This person says this lunatic shouldn't be involved in kids' education. And there's another picture. We got the beautiful mugshot picture there. Love it. Gotta love it. Let's actually go ahead and play this video. You'll get to see what went down when Chauntyll was arrested, when Miss Allen was arrested. And then also we're going to talk about William Key here in a second, another one who was involved and very vocal about this entire situation, actually begging to be arrested and to be charged by the Attorney General and the Department of Justice. Here's Chauntyll being arrested.
Lockup's in there. We'll bring her in. She's staying off to the side.
Hope it's worth it.
I know this only because I just did it.
There she is. Oh dang! They had to put 2 handcuffs. I'm gonna leave that one alone. Let's stay professional.
You are a fake pastor. You are a fake Christian. Stand up, fight back.
This is what happened in the church.
David Easterwood is the director for the field office of ICE in St. Paul. He also serves as a pastor right here at City's Church.
Renee good. Renee good. Renee good.
And they said they went there to worship. Does this sound like that? Doesn't sound like this to me. And what do they have to do with Renee good?
How can you be a pastor
That's right.
of a church,
Their church members
but overseeing ICE agents in the field? We know that ICE agents just killed Renee Good. We know that they shot a Venezuelan nationalist. We know that they almost killed a 6-month-old baby in North Minneapolis.
That part.
It's not
As
true.
well as terrorized their whole family of 6. Had to send 3 of their children to the hospital, 2 of which had asthma, as they fired tear gas and flashbang grenades at the cars of innocent people. We know that they dragged people out of their cars, out of their homes. They dragged pregnant women. They beaten and attacked immigrants and U.S. citizens. So how dare somebody claim to be a pastor while overseeing evil? Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
And Nekima Armstrong is an ordained minister, allegedly. Yeah. So one pastor can storm a church. The other pastor cannot work with ICE, I guess.
Now you guys heard that pastor pray. Dear Lord, please chasten us to get our house in order. That was the perfect prayer for such a time as this. Because that's what we came to do. Get your house in order. Don't pretend to be a church while harboring evil. Unacceptable. And it's
crazy.
This is what community looks like. Tell me what community looks like.
It's sad, man. Can y'all imagine?
This is what community. I mean, this is ridiculous. Does God support ICE? Does Jesus support ICE? No, and we don't either. But this is our house of the Lord. We're trying to come here and praise in His name and worship. You should go up there. You should go up there.
Embarrassing.
This is the house of the Lord. To do this is unjust.
And it's also goes against the Constitution, which is why these people have been charged. Was it worth it? This is all this video that they have, this documents, is going to be played in court at some point. Again, this is, you can't go into these people's place of worship where they're there to worship and do this.
Your pastor is the ICE director. Your pastor is the ICE director. You're literally East African.
They keep
How do you
their
feel about
identity
that?
secret. That's why they're mad.
find a better church, bro.
Join the black church, bro.
Jesus did not wear a tie.
Join the
Black
church.
church
It's
is
the
part of
only
the
way.
civil rights movement, brother. Your pastor's an ICE agent. Come join the black church, man. It's good. That's where you belong. Justice for immigrant Justice for immigrant neighbors. Justice for immigrant.
All right, well, I hope it was worth it. One of the guys you saw featured in the video, one of the clowns you saw featured in the video was this man. William Kelly is now facing up to 10 years in prison, allegedly, after being charged with conspiracy to deprive rights, a federal crime that is tied to his role in the St. Paul Church riots, and he could be charged with even more. This is a video, a nice video of him getting arrested for being an idiot. Check this out.
Kelly, you okay?
Fucking Christ.
Just do it the right way.
Remember your oath. Remember what you're like right now. You are defending the Constitution. Remember your oath. Shame on you. Shame on every one of you. Are you bringing him to federal building, I assume?
Yeah, can we know where you're taking him?
Americans, do not be intimidated by these goons. Remember the Constitution. Stand for humanity.
He said, remember the Constitution. Where was the Constitution when you went into a church and held the camera in people's face? We're harassing them, intimidating them. We're going to get to it here in a second.
Do not be intimidated.
Where are you guys taking him?
Hope it was worth it.
Kelly, you okay?
Fucking Christ.
Hopefully it was worth it. Now, if you want to know, and you're probably asking, well, what did this man do? He didn't do anything. He was just exercising his rights. Well, you be the judge of that. Check this out.
As you can see, all these pretend Christians, all these comfortable white people
who are living lavish, comfortable lives while children are dragged into concentration camps. You're living real life, nice lives with your lattes, doing absolutely nothing for your Latino and Somali brothers and sisters. You come here to a man wearing a suit as a preacher? Did Jesus wear a suit? Did Jesus profit off the words? No! Jesus would dine with immigrants. Do not touch me. Touch me again and see what happens.
Hey, you can't.
You are a fake Christian. Why are you not standing with your Somali and Latino communities? Why do I not see you out at Whipple every day protesting this attack on humanity? Where are you? You're sinners. You're pretending to be Christians. But we know you live an easy life, don't you? A very easy life while people are starving. Shame. Out now. Out now.
Look, I'm getting all their faces in there. Arrest all of them.
Living real comfortable while the people starve. Living real comfortable while children are dragged into concentration camps. You're all living real comfortable, aren't you? Shame on you. Do something. Stand with the Somalis. Stand with the Latinos. Quit ignoring this injustice. He wears a suit and tie and he hangs out with Kristi Noem. How is that a Christian? You're supposed to accept all immigrants, are you not?
No.
Why are you not going down to Whipple and joining us in protest against this inhumanity? You claim to be a Christian. Act like one.
Who is this guy? That's what I want to know. Who is this guy to tell Christians what they're supposed to be doing? And then they're not going to stop because there are more protests that are supposed to happen over this weekend. Now, you guys know with all the weather that's taking place, that might not be the case. And ICE honestly might get a little bit of a break. Minneapolis might get a little bit of a break because of the weather that's going to be taking place. But it is being said that more protests are going to continue. I don't know at what point the mayor and the governor are going to speak on this because we've already had Renee Good that was lost in a way that wasn't necessary, in my opinion. And this continued escalation, the continued somewhat support of the mayor and the governor, it's not going to help things. Minnesota shut everything down in an attempt to get more people out protesting against ICE. Activists are planning for a rally and march down as part of the statewide shutdown. No work, no school, no shopping, so folks can focus on protesting ICE. We'll see what happens.
Today, activists are planning for a major rally and a march here downtown as part of a statewide shutdown that they're calling a day of truth and freedom, with no work, no school, and no shopping, so folks can come out and focus on protesting ICE.
Got it. Okay, Garrett, we'll get you back inside there. Chilly there in
Shout
Minneapolis.
out to Garrett.
We'll watch it throughout the day. Thank you much. Sandra?
So we'll be reporting on that as well. If this does go down, if we see something happen in Minneapolis, I'm sure it'll be interesting to see. Maybe Don Lemon will even be there. We're gonna talk about Don Lemon here shortly. Let me know what y'all think in the comments in the chat. Thank you to everyone that's in here, man. I appreciate y'all so much. It looks like we lost X. For some reason, X isn't working, so we'll try and get X back up there. Shout out to everybody over there watching on X. I appreciate y'all. Let me see what you guys are saying. And Don Lemon is still saying he did nothing wrong. Yeah, we're going to talk about that shortly. Don Lemon, he needs to be held accountable, and we'll go through exactly why. Even though I've already been through this multiple times over the past couple of days, we'll go through it again. Excuse me. And I don't think anyone in North America wants to be outside this weekend. We'll have to see. Vengeance is God. Amen. I agree with that 100%. I know y'all were talking about Don Lemon, and we're going to get into what's going on with Don Lemon here in a second, because Don Lemon may have dodged a bullet, and we're going to talk about why here in a second. Let me see some more comments. Shout out to Les Cleaver in here, one of the hardest working guys I know. Yes, make sure y'all stay warm out there, and prayers go out to everyone who's going to deal with this ice storm / winter storm. We're working on getting prepared for it here, but it's looking like it's going to be ugly. So thank y'all for the prayers. Thank y'all for the support. Let's go ahead and get into this next topic, because I don't really like getting to the politics of things too much, But it's interesting to see how this Don Lemon situation is being handled, because we looked at the video of Don Lemon. We saw what went down before this group of protesters went to the church. We saw what happened during and at the time they were in the church. We saw Don Lemon confronting the pastor. We saw what happened after the church, and we're actually going to get into that in a second. But Don Lemon seemingly avoided being arrested by the Department of Justice, by the FBI, by the Department of Homeland Security. And we're going to talk about why that happened here and what could continue to happen as a result of that. So, according to this post, and we've talked about it, and we're going to get into more detail here shortly, the Minnesota church stormed by Don Lemon and the leftist agitators, this says, those aren't my words, is now speaking with lawyers about what to do next. So Don Lemon could be getting in trouble as a result of this as well. On Sunday, January 18th, a group of agitators jarringly disrupted our worship gathering. They accosted members of our congregation, frightened children. We saw a picture of kids crying in the pews, and created a scene marked by intimidation and threat. Such conduct is shameful, unlawful, and will not be tolerated. Invading a church service to disrupt the worship of Jesus and or any other act of worship is protected by neither Christian scriptures nor the laws of this nation. As to those who have been loved and rescued by him, we will not shrink from worshiping Jesus. We will not stop teaching and proclaiming the good news of Jesus, the Messiah. Acts 5:42. We are evaluating next steps with our legal counsel. Now, we talked about the pastor, and Don Lemon actually was interviewing him when the pastor asked them to leave. They didn't leave. Even William Kelly, before he was arrested, said, they never asked us to leave. Nobody said we should leave. Well, this is a video that took place as everything was going down. And once this happened, you can listen to what the pastor says here. Check this out.
Where are you? Where are you? Where are you? Where are your people? Why are you not at Whipple every day fighting for the humanity, standing for our people? Where are you? You drink your coffee, you got your jewelry, you have your nice clothes, but what do you do? What do you do to stand for your Somali and Latino communities?
I'm not going to comment.
You have no comment, exactly.
What do you think of this? I mean, this is unacceptable. It's shameful. It's shameful to interrupt a public gathering of Christians in worship.
But there were folks who will say,
I have to take care of my flock.
Okay, but listen, we live there's a constitution in the First Amendment to freedom of speech and freedom to assemble and protest.
Yeah. We're here to worship. We're here to worship Jesus because that's the hope of these cities. That's the hope of the world is Jesus Christ.
I want to be very respectful. Please don't push me, though.
We're here to worship Jesus.
Yes.
That's why we're here.
Yeah.
Okay. That's why we're here. Okay. That's what we're about.
Don't you think Jesus would be understanding
we're about
and love these folks?
We're about spreading the love of Jesus.
But did you try to talk to them as a Christian?
No one is willing to talk.
Okay.
I have to take care of my church and my family, so I asked that you actually would also leave this building.
You don't want us to chronicle what happened?
Unless you're here to worship.
I'm always worship. I'm a Christian.
We're here to worship. Yeah. We're here to worship. Okay.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Yeah, he said, I'm always worship. I'm a Christian. Boy, if you don't get out of here. So we're actually going to before I get into that, I want y'all to hear Don Lemon's words once he found out he was not going to be arrested. And we're going to talk about that in a second. Don Lemon said this, and I'll just let y'all hear it from him.
So, look, I stand proud and I stand tall. This is not a victory lap for me because it's not over. They're going to try again, and they're going to try again. And guess what? Here I am. Keep trying. That's not going to stop me from being a journalist. You're not going to diminish my voice. Go ahead, make me into the new Jimmy Kimmel if you want. Just do it. Because I'm not going anywhere, and I'm going to believe the same things, whether you want to, whatever. Now, let me just tell you something else before I get to my guests. None of this is about justice. This is about power, and it's about people who are incompetent.
So my question to Don Lemon would be, what part of this do you feel like was okay? Because again, if this were another venue, if this were somewhere else that people were going into, a place of worship or going to an organized meeting where people had a right to be, and it was interrupted in this way, I don't think anyone just with common sense would think this was okay. So again, where is he getting this thought process from? How is it about power? Don Lemon and his attorney also said this. The magistrate's reported actions confirm the nature of Don's First Amendment protected work this weekend in Minnesota as a reporter. That's not what he was. He said, we're going to do this. He wasn't just a reporter. It was no different than what he had done for more than 30 years, reporting and covering newsworthy events on the ground and engaging in constitutionally protected activity as a journalist. Should the Department of Justice continue with a stunning and troubling effort to silence and punish a journalist for doing his job, Don will call out their latest attack on the rule of law and fight any charges vigorously throughout the court. So let's get into the details of what happened and what went down here, because looking behind the scenes, there may be more to this decision than meets the eye. I'm not going to get too much into the conspiracy theories and the politics of it, but some of these facts are interesting. TMZ says Minnesota church protest judge rejects the Department of Justice's charges for Don Lemon. What did they say? Don Lemon posted a statement with his attorney, Abby Lowell, on his official Instagram account Thursday after the judge rejected the Department of Justice's attempt to charge him, noting journalists' First Amendment rights were properly enforced by the federal judge, which we talked about. And we read the statement here. Don Lemon looks like he's off the hook in Minnesota because a judge reportedly swatted away the U.S. Department of Justice's first attempt to charge him with the crime over an anti-ICE protest that tore through a church service. Again, Don Lemon, watching the video, seemed like he was almost a spokesperson for what they were doing there, not someone who was just documenting what was happening. CNN reports a federal magistrate judge rejected the Department of Justice's bid to bring charges against the former CNN host who reported live from Sunday's protest at City's Church in St. Paul. U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi, who is meeting with federal prosecutors in Minnesota, is reportedly enraged at the judge's decision, and rightfully so. TMZ broke the story that the DOJ launched a criminal probe into the protests, and the Department of Justice Assistant AG for the Civil Rights, Harmeet Dillon, told us every demonstrator who stormed the church was under federal investigation. About 30 to 40 anti-ICE protesters interrupted the service, as we know, and confronted the church's pastor, but the one they were looking for wasn't even there. The protest organizer was arrested this morning. We know that was Nekima Armstrong. Don told us he was just doing his job and reporting the news story from the scene, but on his live stream, he's seen kissing the protest organizer on the cheek. And that's exactly the kind of things feds could use to argue he wasn't just innocent bystander. Not to mention in the video, he says, we're going to do this. Oh, I don't want to go in because I don't want to tip them off to what's happening. Don Lemon was clearly a part of this. And it seems like if he had some knowledge of it, he could be held liable for that alone. For now, a judge isn't having it. The feds may have to go back to the drawing board here. They reached out to the Department of Justice, but no word yet. So let's hear what some attorneys have to say about this. Shout out to Phil Holloway with Inside the Law. He's also over on Megyn Kelly's show. Make sure y'all go check him out on YouTube if you haven't yet. He says a federal magistrate judge gave Don Lemon a pass for what I believe is criminal involvement in Minnesota church invasion. I believe that, well, as I told Megyn Kelly on the Megyn Kelly show today, this reeks of political, I'm not even going to try and pronounce that word, abrogation. I don't know what that means. Of the magistrate's duty to protect the people of Minnesota. Y'all check this out.
What do you make of this, Phil? The reports are that this magistrate judge in Minneapolis has declined to sign a warrant for his arrest, apparently not persuaded by the criminal complaint filed by the DOJ that attempted to make a showing of probable cause. I'm just going to guess that it would have been the same two charges as we've seen against the earlier two, one under the FACE Act, which if it's a first violation is a misdemeanor, and one under the Klan Act, which is a conspiracy against rights, somebody else's attempt to exercise their civil rights.
Well, this reeks of politics. I can smell it here in Atlanta all the way coming from Minnesota today. Trespassing is a crime. The First Amendment does not give Don Lemon a shield against violating the rights of other people. Merely holding a microphone and calling yourself a journalist might make you a journalist within the meaning of the Fourth Amendment, but it doesn't mean that you get to use it as a defense to violate other people's First Amendment rights. It's important to understand, Megan, magistrate judges, federal magistrate judges, they are not appointed by any president. They're not confirmed by the Senate. They are hired as contractors by the judges who are the appointed judges on the court. So they are essentially employees. They get hired from the local community. Okay.
Not to mention, we've even seen when what happened with Irina Zaruska, that the magistrate judge in that case never even went to law school, which is wild.
These are lawyers, probably people with certain political connections who wind up getting these jobs. And so when you factor all this in together, along with the fact that there have been warrants that were issued for other three, I smell politics, and it reeks. I believe that's what it's about. Now, the Justice Department is not stuck here. They can always go to the grand jury and they can get an indictment. This magistrate's word is not and will not be, mark my words, the last one on the subject.
I agree.
So they would have to go to a federal grand jury that's already impaneled, that right? Isn't that how it works?
Yeah.
And you kind of get in front of it and you make your case on how Don Lemon violated the elements of both of these laws.
Yeah, one way or another, it can go to a federal grand jury. Now, what I don't know, I think there might be a way. I was trying to research this before we came on air. I think there might be a way for prosecutors to get another bite at the apple by going to an Article III judge or perhaps a different court.
Meaning a district court judge who's been placed with lifetime tenure.
Yeah, but their options, look, Don Lemon has won round one, and it's probably, like I said, due to politics, but I don't think it's over for him. I've seen the same videos and the evidence that you have and that your audience has seen, and what I see is a person who is acting together with people who are committing a crime. He is encouraging. He's an active participant. He's encouraging just by being there, and that takes you out of the realm of being a casual observer and squarely into the realm of being a participant. It doesn't take much to be an accessory. It simply takes facts that would show that you were actively involved, that you encouraged, that you helped in some way, even if it's just a tiny way. And just by being there and giving inspiration to those people, I think that could perhaps be enough. So I think Don Lemon...
Well, let's not forget, Phil, that he showed up with his cameras, which actually is encouragement to the BLM types. That's what they wanted. They wanted to make a splash with it. They loved the fact that they were on camera with Don Lemon. There's video of him hugging and kissing this Nekima Armstrong. Clearly, the two of them are very familiar with one another. He knew what was happening at a church before others did. That was obvious. He came in, he got in the face of that pastor who made clear no one wants to talk to you. He kept it pushing. He's on camera saying trauma is part of the process. Being forced to feel uncomfortable is part of the process. He argued that the First Amendment allowed it. He said that in front of a room full of people, that the First Amendment allowed them to be. All of this is assistance and participation in the actual protest. It's not journalism.
No, it's.
Yeah, I agree. And it's very clear to see that Don was a part of what was happening. He turned French during the video. He was talking about, oh, they're planning this, they're planning that. And then he started saying, we're going to do this. We're going to go in there. I don't know. Should we pull it? I don't want to go in first because they're going to recognize me and they'll know what's going on. It's clear he was trying to not only help facilitate this, but he was directly involved. And then pressing the pastor while he was in there.
I think you laid out the case exactly right. It's squarely in the realm of participation. He's not just a bystander. I think no one would dispute that someone, even if it's an amateur journalist or a former CNN journalist, Don Lemon has a First Amendment right to engage in news gathering and airing the news, showing the news. Nobody disputes that, but you can't take that step over into the other arena and become an active participant. And that, I think, under the totality of the circumstances, everything that I've seen shows that that's what Don Lemon was. He will be arrested. When there's a will, there's a way. The DOJ is going to find a way around this federal magistrate judge, because like I said, this is something that most people don't understand, but politics, particularly local politics, weighs heavily in who gets these jobs as federal magistrate judges.
All right, so let me know what you guys think about this in the comments in the chat. Phil Holloway saying Don Lemon's going to be arrested. I have a feeling that is the case as well. I have to wait and see what happens. And, we're going to report on it here once that goes down. Let me know what you guys think. And it should happen. This is embarrassing. It wasn't right. It wasn't necessary. Same thing with Renee Good. Same thing with a lot of these situations that are going on. Just do it the right way. Do it the right way. And I didn't get into this article. We could have talked about it some, but I'll go over it a little bit for y'all if you want to know what was going on with this magistrate judge. And shout out to everybody who's in here, all 6,000 of y'all. He incited it. He didn't facilitate it. It's not even a question. And there should be some evidence there to prove that Don Lemon was involved and helped facilitate it in some ways. You just have to listen to what he was saying. But CBS News talks about a little bit more into what happened with this magistrate judge. I wasn't going to read this to y'all, but I do think it's interesting. CBS News says a Minnesota federal magistrate judge refuses to sign a complaint charging independent journalist Don Lemon in connection with the protest inside the church in St. Paul on Sunday. Multiple sources familiar with the proceedings told CBS News. The attorney general is enraged at the magistrate's decision, said a source familiar with the matter. Attorney General Pam Bondi has been in Minnesota for 2 days as the Justice Department has sought to surge prosecutorial and law enforcement resources there. A different source stresses that the process is not over, and the Justice Department could find other avenues to charge Lemon. The magistrate judge who declined to approve charges for Lemon was Douglas Miko. Okay, here's where it gets interesting. Miko previously worked as a federal public defender. Don Lemon's attorney, Abby Lowell, said in a statement on Thursday that the magistrate's actions confirm the nature of Don's First Amendment protected works this weekend in Minnesota as a reporter. I don't agree. Should the Department of Justice continue with a stunning and troubling effort to silence and punish a journalist for doing his job, Don will call out their latest attack on the rule of law and fight charges vigorously and thoroughly in court. The government had hoped to charge Lemon along with a raft of other people who participated in the protests at the church on Thursday morning. Bondi announced 2 arrests connected to church protests. We had Chauntyll Allen, who serves at St. Paul's School Board, and civil rights attorney Nekima Armstrong, who we talked about. Also, William Kelly was arrested too. Allen and Armstrong both appeared in federal court in St. Paul on Thursday, where they were each charged with violating civil rights laws that prohibited 2 or more people from conspiring to interfere with constitutionally protected rights, like the free practice of religion. We talked about that. That's the FACE Act, and could potentially be the Klan Act. Miko, who presided over Thursday's hearing, declined to approve a second criminal charge against the 2 local activists that accused them of violating a provision in the FACE Act, which makes it a crime to use force, threats, or physical obstruction to intimidate or interfere with the person who is exercising their First Amendment right of religious freedom at a place of worship. This doesn't make any sense, because that's clearly what they did here. They definitely intimidated these people. They definitely interfered with them exercising their First Amendment right of religious freedom at a place of worship. So how this magistrate judge could just say, nah, it doesn't make sense. I would be interested to find out why. A copy of an arrest warrant against Allen obtained by CBS. The second charge was physically crossed off with no probable cause. Did they see the kids crying in the video? I guess the only thing I could think of is maybe they weren't able to show proof to the judge that these specific people were involved in violating the FACE Act. William Kelly, on the other hand, he might get charged with this. So I could potentially see that being the reason. Otherwise, that's Kind of wild. An attorney for Armstrong said that the magistrate judge also crossed off the charge on her arrest warrant as well. Tension was evident during Thursday's hearing to review the arrest. Last minute, or just minutes before Miko began the hearing, federal prosecutors conceded that they had yet to provide copies of the arrest warrants to the two women arrested and their attorneys. We can get them, Robert Keenan, an attorney in the Civil Rights Division, told the judge. Miko then ordered a recess and vowed not to proceed until it happened, prompting audible gasps and some cheers for those in attendance watching in overflow rooms. When proceedings restarted, the Justice Department's request for Armstrong and Allen to be detained was swiftly denied, as there were requests for detention hearings. Keenan argued that the allegations involved crimes of violence, but Miko shot back that he didn't see any threat or use of force. Ultimately, both Armstrong and Allen were ordered to be released on the condition they remain in Minnesota, stay off the church property, and avoid contact with any witness or victim. But later Thursday, defense attorneys told CBS that both Armstrong and Allen would not be released pending the Justice Department's plan to appeal and seek their detention. Dang. This is the due process for the prosecution that doesn't seem to happen to folks we try to get out of Whipple federal building or any other effing jail in the city, lamented attorneys James Cook, who represent Allen. I guess they've all got the same mouth on them. A judge is expected to make a ruling on the Justice Department's appeal on Friday. Prosecutors also asked the criminal complaints remain sealed despite the very public nature of this case, a motion that was approved for 24 hours, which this was on Thursday, so we may actually get to see that soon. Two federal prosecutors who appeared in the courtroom are not from Minnesota. Before joining the Civil Rights Division, Keenan previously worked as a federal prosecutor in Los Angeles, where he argued that a local deputy sheriff convicted of civil rights violations should have his conviction on the felony counts struck and should not serve prison time. The efforts to strike the felony conviction led several prosecutors on the case to resign in protest. Dang. Most recently, he was dispatched to Louisville to handle the sentencing of former Louisville police officer who was convicted of violating Breonna Taylor's civil rights, where he asked the judge to impose a sentence of just 1 day. Orlando Sonza, a former congressional candidate from Ohio, was tapped by Mr. Trump, President Trump, to work in the Civil Rights Division last summer. Interesting stuff. Either way, and the article goes on. I'm not going to read the whole thing just because I'm already struggling to read this. But it's interesting to see how politics could maybe be involved in how this is being handled. I think it's involved in everything, to be honest. But specifically here. Too bad this wasn't in Massachusetts, because you get thrown in jail for independent reporting and protesting. Free my guy, Turtle Boy. Yeah, free Turtle Boy. Notice they are threatening to arrest any reporter on the ground gathering news for American audiences. Who's they? If that's not what happened in this case, though, is that what y'all feel like what really happened? Don Lemon was just out there reporting. I mean, many of you have seen the video. Don made it very clear, in my opinion, that he was there to help. He was there to make sure that things went smoothly. As he said, we're going to hear some more videos here. I'm going to show to y'all as well that happened before and after they actually went into the church. This isn't really about journalism. I think Don Lemon is using that to help facilitate what happened here. And even the way that he was talking before they actually went to the church, it almost sounded like he was a spokesperson and proud and a part of what was going on. He used the words, we're going to do this. I don't know. I don't think this is about journalism. And even, again, he could have done this so many different ways. We wouldn't even be talking about Don Lemon being involved. But because he put out the first video of him saying, oh yeah, we're doing this, and giving a key, and giving Miss Armstrong a kiss on the cheek, saying, yeah, we're about to go in. Here we go. Nekima, I forgot her first name. Nekima Armstrong. If he could have just showed up, been like, hey guys, it looks like something is about to go down here. Let's see what's going on. And he holds the microphone. He asks the pastor the same exact questions. It doesn't look like simple journalism to me. Looks like someone who's a part of a movement. But again, we'll see how this plays out. If it ever goes to a jury, maybe they'll think differently. In my opinion, Don Lemon is playing politics. Why he went to the church is still beyond me. He's playing politics. I think Phil Holloway said it best. He's using the whole journalism thing as a defense to say, oh, well, I was there reporting on it, even though I was a part of it and I believe and support what they were doing. And I knew what was going to happen. I was just there. I had a microphone. I was just talking to people, seeing how they were feeling, what was going on. It just could have been played a different way because he was clearly involved in violating these people's constitutional rights. I think he needs to be held accountable. But now we have to ask the question, will Don Lemon end up in jail? Because we've heard from the Attorney General, we've heard from the Department of Justice, and even though Don Lemon is not currently being charged with what happened or what went down at the St. Paul Church, the Attorney General and the Department of Justice said they're not going to stop. So I want to get into this video that hasn't been seen by a lot of people, but Don Lemon's talking about what was going on. He's talking about how things were being handled, and this might play into what a judge is going to see moving forward and determining how Don Lemon was a part of this. So check this out and let me know what y'all think. And the person who posted this said, wow, why did Don Lemon want his mic muted once during the stream? How is it that his driver or his guide and the Ellisons know each other? His name is Richard, who arranged for Don Lemon's car. Don Lemon said, I thought we were going to get arrested. Again, there's with the we. There's with the French. We. Why would you think you're going to get arrested for being a journalist? Great questions. It's because he knew it was clearly illegal action to disrupt the sanctuary of religious practice. So Don Lemon flew in that morning, went straight to meet the activists for their clandestine op, and then drove to meet Ellison, who he was speaking to all morning. The driver of that nice black SUV knew Ellison. Oh, and by the way, the judge who let Lemon off, his wife works under Ellison. Let's look at the video and see what Don Lemon's talking about.
I kept thinking, seriously, while we were there, I kept thinking, holy crap, they're going to come in and try to arrest us. But they didn't. Why do you think they did that? Is it because of church, or they didn't want to? Maybe the people in the church said, don't, come in busting heads, or...
But there's been some pretty aggressive separation between police department and any activity dealing with ICE, especially in St. Paul.
Now, what would happen if ICE got your phone? What might they see? Yeah.
Can you turn your AirDrop on?
Oh, I have AirDrop. I got it.
No, I declined it, though, because he wants it on his phone. Do you want it on yours, too?
Well, it's easy. He can grab it off of mine.
Oh, okay.
Just mess now!
Are we going to George Floyd Square?
Yes, we're going to George Floyd Square.
Cool.
Okay, I'm going to try to make a phone call.
Brittany.
Can you mute me or no?
Yeah, I can.
You can, but hold on. Let me see if I can do this.
Yeah, I can just turn your mic.
No, I'm going to text first.
Go out in the background real quick.
Can you mute just for a second?
Yeah.
Does it take a long? Oh, yeah.
Go for it.
You can't see the screen. More coordination. Who knows?
111.
Dude, wait. No,
it's that side. Okay. Okay, so we're going to go to George Floyd Square.
Yeah.
And they said there's someone over we can show. You tell me.
Oh, he answered right away?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hang on. Would you come to Whipple or George Floyd Square, or is that too public? We are doing a live stream here all day. We've started at about 10 a.m. with Nekima Armstrong. Okay, so I'm trying to set up an interview with someone, guys. So we are, just go.
Yeah.
So he'll tell us where, if he's going to do it where.
I'm gonna head towards his area though.
No, just go to George Floyd Square. Okay, that's his area. Yeah. Okay, George Floyd Square is closer. We don't mind the chaos. We're about that.
Ask him where did he say anything about that?
Hang on.
I just know how he operates.
Interesting.
He's not a very good businessman.
Well, this is what people tell me.
Hey, how are you?
So only if there's like ice conflict. So if there's something in your neighborhood.
Okay, we'll drive over. We're on our way.
Suspicion, if you know there's an ice rink going.
We're right around by the memorial for Miss Good. We thought you.
Whistleblowing, please join them and protect their neighbors. Make whatever noise you can, and you let them know.
Okay, yeah. So we're right here. If you want to come over, we're right by the big memorial for her, on where she died. Yeah. We were, but you said 1:15, so we were not there yet. Should we just come to you? We can come to you.
Hello.
It's not far.
Good. Like whistle?
Okay, so come over with the address. We're at between
33rd and
33rd and 34th and Portland.
Thank you very much. Thank you for protecting us.
Okay. All right. We'll see you. Thank you. Bye-bye. So, yeah. We got to go on the other side because we don't want to get you hit.
They try to intimidate you. They come up close to you and they photograph you, like up close.
Careful.
I appreciate what you guys are doing.
This is hilarious. We're talking about, I'm multitasking. We're talking about intimidation in the screen. And this lady who's there to actually protest says, hey, they try to intimidate you. They hold a camera in your face and they try and talk to you and say things. It's intimidation.
Yeah.
We got to go on the other side because we don't want to get you hit.
They try to intimidate you. They come up close to you and they photograph you, like up close.
Careful.
I appreciate what you guys are doing. All we're doing.
Let's get that behind us.
Y'all are putting body on the line.
That's the important stuff.
Yeah, man.
Oh, thank you for doing this.
Is this a lot like Baton Rouge?
We're on live now, okay? We're on live on all platforms. We have incredible engagement of over 100,000 folks watching. So thank you for doing this, Mr. Attorney General.
Hey, brother. How you doing, brother?
Thank you for showing up, man. I appreciate this.
Yeah, man.
Thank you so much,
brother. What's your name, man?
My name is John Martin.
Good to meet you, John Martin. My name is
I've seen a lot. I've seen a lot of your video, man. You guys speak really good word, man. Please make something happen about this,
John Martin.
man. Let's get them out of
We are working on it. He can tell you, man. We're working on it every day.
Let's get
We're working on it.
out of office, man.
Thank you, brother.
Hey, what's up,
this brother kept us safe. He's like, get out of traffic.
Yeah.
So we're here with
the youth of America.
The Attorney General.
You know Richardson, you hanging out with him?
Oh, he's our guide today.
You know Richardson, you hanging out with him?
Oh, he's our guide today. He's our guide today.
He's total trouble, let me tell you.
He is.
No, he's a great guy.
Keep that.
Yeah, so again, this is going to the background of things and what allegedly went on behind the scenes as far as planning. Now, of course, we know, and we've talked about it, Don Lemon has retained a lawyer. He's being represented by Abby Lowell, who gave out the statement we read in the previous video and said, hey, listen, this is BS. I don't know why the Attorney General and the Department of Justice is trying to attack this man who's just wanting to be a journalist. I don't believe personally that's what was happening here. It wasn't just about journalism. Don Lemon was involved, intricately involved, as we saw in the video before they went into the church. It's clear to me. Let me know what y'all think. Here's another video of Don Lemon interviewing someone at the scene.
These people have come into our house and they've interrupted our worship. This is a house of peace, and we try to proclaim that. And this stirs division and rancor. And in the end, it's not helpful. Ultimately, I believe they've lost. They've emptied a house of worship. Everybody's gone home. Their point has been proven worthless. And so, in the end, I think they lose. But more importantly, if I was to break into any of their houses uninvited cause derision and upset according to their values, I would be kicked out ultimately. It's not a good way. I feel violated. I feel interrupted. I feel angry.
May I ask you something? When you were saying if you had showed up at their house, they're saying that people are showing up at houses where they're citizens or without due process and breaking and entering the house. One that we saw, I've been watching from.
What does that have to do with the church and the people who are there to worship? We want to confront the pastor. The pastor wasn't even there. The one they're saying who was involved with ICE, who was helping work with ICE, he wasn't even there. Go to his office, go to the church when people aren't there trying to worship or something.
New York with a battering ram into someone's private property, and there's no recourse. There's no, you understand what I'm saying?
This is all part of a much larger dialogue, in my opinion. On one side are people who watched a previous administration bring 12 million people in over the course of 4 years. And many of them undocumented, many of them criminals, etc. This is another administration's corrective. Now, whether you agree with the policies or procedures, I think I could actually be sympathetic to some of the things where there have been challenges to fashion and decency. At the same time, these are what are called targeted interventions by ICE to keep the American people safe.
If I respectfully may interject here, I've been out reporting on a lot of these, and they're not targeted. There are no warrants signed by a judge, let me finish. And they're American citizens, many of them. Most of the people that they detain don't have criminal convictions or criminal records.
I'm not going to get into the weeds.
But you should know that, though. Don't you think that's part of it?
Yes, and I could also show you many opposing sides where we're also picking up the very criminals that have put Americans in danger.
That's true.
And I'm not saying it's pretty. I'm not saying it's not messy. I'm not saying it couldn't be better. I'm saying this is a part of a much larger dialogue in which one administration caused a great deal of chaos and havoc and danger for American citizens, and another is trying to correct that.
Do you believe? And you can't argue that, because how did these people get in here? How are they still here? You cannot argue that point. If the previous administration said, come on in, and there's these violent people in the country, you can't really argue that that's not what caused this. You can't really argue that, oh, well, they let these people in, but it's not their fault. Really?
Believe that? Why? Honestly,
okay.
Let me talk to you just on the facts. Yes, I am. I want to give you the facts.
No.
Did you know that undocumented people and immigrants commit far less crime than American citizens?
We're done here. We're done here.
Than natural-born Americans? You won't listen.
If you could ask,
I'm giving you the facts. It is.
Give me facts. I would have a conversation.
But I can respond to you.
No.
Did Jesus stand with the oppressed?
Because he doesn't want to listen to facts. That's the interesting thing about this, is that they won't listen to facts.
No.
You won't, because
when you pose as a journalist,
I am a journalist. Journalist gives facts.
And then you start correcting me with facts, and don't have.
You shouldn't hear the facts.
Of course, I
most
should
of the
hear
people
facts.
who are picked up
but will
are
you
not.
Give me the facts on both sides.
That is the facts on both sides. Most of the people who are picked up and are detained are not convicted. They have no criminal convictions. They have no criminal records. None.
The moment you are in this country, remain in this country illegally, you're a criminal. So it doesn't matter if they have a criminal record. It matters if they're committing a crime, Don Lemon.
That immigrants commit far less crime than native-born Americans. So they won't listen to the facts. Anyways, these folks are still out here.
All right. Anyway, let me know what y'all think about this in the comments in the chat. Interesting discussion going on. Don, I don't think this is looking good for him. And of course, as the Department of Justice said, they're going to continue to pursue this. Let me know what you guys think. Thank you to everybody's in here. All 6,000 of y'all up in the building. I appreciate you. Excuse me. Amy said Don is a clown. Absolutely. I agree. And not because of his views, but because of the way he the way he conducts himself. It's just foolish. It's not about illegals. It's about legal immigrants and U.S. citizens getting attacked by federal militia. Boy. All right. Well, can we talk about the cases where that's happened? And again, if we want to listen, I mentioned this the other day. When it comes to this type of issue, you've got the commissioner of the Boston Police Department that at the time was a police officer. He was walking down the street, minding his own business, as his co-workers were trying to apprehend the criminal. They misidentified him, beat the crap out of him, and arrested him. And then they said, my bad. We got the wrong guy. If we want to talk about how this is being handled, I've agreed in the past with y'all on that. I think this could all be handled better. I think the Renee Good situation could have been handled better. I don't think she had to be shot and killed. Again, I wasn't there, almost getting run over by a car. So take that for what you will. But that is not an ICE problem. That's a general problem with pretty much any law enforcement you have. It's going to happen every now and then. I'm not trying to justify it. I'm saying that is a result of the way things go. And if that's the case, what is the solution? We've already heard from ICE saying that we didn't even want to be here. We didn't want to have to do this. The criminals are being arrested. We have procedures that can be followed by local law enforcement in each one of these counties in Minnesota. We say, hey, if you pick up a legal immigrant that commits a crime, can you guys just let us know? We'll come get him. We'll get him out of the country. And local law enforcement is like, nah, we're good. We'll just put him back on the street. And it happens over and over and over and over and over. And we even talked about a man who was arrested, who ICE was able to detain, had been in the country, had committed multiple offenses, was a child predator. He was being protected by his landlord and wasn't arrested. And then ICE was finally able to get him and detain him. So again, it's a bigger issue than the few cases that have happened to where people who are American citizens or who are illegal immigrants have been detained or misidentified. If you want to look at the numbers, you can compare ICE numbers to what happens on a local level with people being misidentified and being arrested and places being searched without warrants. Come on. Minnesota lately, Portland. If it's an American city that didn't vote for Trump, Trump has sent the militia into their neighborhoods. Yeah, I mean, we've looked at the numbers and we've went through who ICE is arresting and detaining. I don't think the facts are indisputable. So if you want to focus on a few cases where ICE is messed up, then fine, you focus on that. But one, what's the solution? And two, what's the ratio? I mean, is anybody walking down the street in Minnesota just going to have at threat of being arrested by ICE? I don't think so. But that's what the media and mainstream media is trying to paint it as. I don't mind ICE in general, but once they infringe on American rights, they need to get out of Dodge. Yeah, the federal government has a right to conduct themselves the way they're doing. They have a right to be there. They have a right to arrest these criminals. 73% of detainees have no criminal record. I don't know where these numbers are coming from, but let's just say that number is right. If 73% of them don't have criminal records, what are they being detained for? Are you telling me 73% of people who are being detained are here legally or are U.S. citizens? No. So again, guys, this isn't anything new. We could go, but I need to find. Let me see if I can find this. Let's see if I can find this video. This was 12 years ago. They were detained for having accents. Stop it. If we're not having papers on them. Well, my question would be, as someone who is here as a legal immigrant, are you required to have those papers on you? That would be my question. Self-deportation, yes. Self-deportation, I think the number we just looked at was 2.2 million people have self-deportated, and they get it was at one point a $1,000 bonus for getting the heck out of here. And now it's up to $2,600. Let's watch this video of Barack Obama, because I find this interesting. Check this out.
Last time we spoke, you said that you weren't king, you were president. There were only certain things you could do unilaterally. As time goes on, 1,000 deportations on average a day. People are wondering, and our Twitter feeds and Facebook feeds, that's the question everybody asks. Won't you at least consider unilaterally freezing deportations for the parents of deferred action kids?
Yeah. Here's the problem that I have, Jose, and I've said this consistently. My job in the executive branch is supposed to be to carry out the laws that are passed. Congress has said, here's the law when it comes to those who are undocumented, and they allocate a whole bunch of money for enforcement. And what I have been able to do is to make a legal argument that I think is absolutely right, which is that given the resources we have, we can't do everything that Congress has asked us to do. What we can do is then carve out the DREAM Act folks, saying young people who have basically grown up here are Americans that we should welcome. We're not going to have them operate under a cloud, under a shadow. But if we start broadening that, then essentially I would be ignoring the law in a way that I think would be very difficult to defend legally. So that's not an option. And I do get a little worried that advocates of immigration reform start losing heart and immediately thinking, well, somehow there's an out here. If Congress doesn't act, we'll just have the president sign something and that'll take care of it, and we won't have to worry about it. What I've said is that there's a path to get this done, and that's through Congress. And right now, everybody should be focused on making sure that that bill that's already passed out of the Senate hits the floor of the House of Representatives. It's not as if the votes are not there. Right. The votes are there. The only thing that's preventing it is, the Speaker Boehner's decided that he doesn't want to call it right now.
All right. And then we got this. I don't remember armed militia pounding on doors in 2012. Well, this was...
The Obama administration will ask Congress today for at least $2 billion. The money would help deal with the growing immigrant crisis along the border with Mexico. Since October, more than 52,000 kids have been caught crossing into this country. They came here illegally and on their own. The children are mostly from Central America. Detention centers are overwhelmed by the surge. Some of those kids have no choice but to sleep on floors. Along with the new funding, the White House also wants the authority to fast-track deportations and to enforce tougher penalties against human traffickers.
And again, this is something that's been going on. And if you didn't see... When was that filmed? That was filmed 12 years ago, I believe. And I could keep going on and on and on. And again, if you didn't see something, it's not necessarily because it didn't happen. This has been going on. This has been happening for over a decade. And I think because of many people's hatred for this administration, many people's hatred for a particular person, the president of the United States, we're seeing mainstream media and things being reported a certain way. We're not talking about or focusing on what ICE is actually accomplishing. We're focusing on, oh, well, how could you guys pull these people out of their home? Yeah, okay, maybe they're a criminal and they're here illegally and were released on the street, but how could you do that? So again, let's just say everything that is happening with ICE is wrong. Let's say I agree. What's the solution? Do we leave it up to local law enforcement? Local law enforcement hasn't been going through their correct process, as we've heard from ICE, which is the reason they're there. So let's say we leave it up to local law enforcement. Say, hey guys, you got to handle this. Make sure you get these people to the border or wherever they need to go. Make sure you follow the protocol. They haven't been doing it. That's why these people are back on the streets. Is that the solution? Is the solution to just shrug your shoulders and say, well, they're here. I mean, give them a chance. Let them seek asylum. Well, what's not to hate about this administration and this corruption? Ugh, boy. Yeah, again, I mean, if you're not going to be objective and look at both sides, as the gentleman who was being interviewed by Don Lemon said, then really what's the conversation? I mean, we're not going to have a productive conversation, because we could play the tit for tat game all day. We could go to the previous administration, the administration before that, which was the 45th president of the United States, Donald Trump. Administration before that, we could go with the 44th president of the United States. And again, I just want to know what you guys want. Do you just want ICE to leave? Do you not want them to ask somebody who has an accent if they can see their license? What should happen? That would be my question. I don't know, and I haven't really seen anyone willing to give some insight to what they want to happen. They just want ICE to stop. ICE already stopped, and now we have this problem. We have a Lincoln Riley. And the list goes on and on and on and on and on. They're here, they pay taxes, they buy goods, they work hard. If a town wants ICE, then let them in. If a city doesn't want ICE, stay out. Boy, it's sad, man. I don't even want to get into the politics of it. I don't want to talk about Brandon Johnson. I don't want to talk about New York. I don't want to talk about Gavin Newsom, because we could spend all day getting into what these cities actually want. But no, if someone is here illegally, they're here illegally. I don't care if they're Mother Teresa. They're out saving puppies. That's not a reason to break the law. That's like saying, oh, well, someone was stealing from a bank. They robbed the bank because they wanted to feed the people. They're Robin Hood. Yeah, they took $8 billion, but look at all the good they did. It's not how the law works. And if you break federal law by not only committing crimes in this country as someone who's here illegally, but being in this country illegally, I mean, what is there to talk about? Dang, I had a couple other topics I wanted to get into, but oh man, I'm starting to feel it, y'all. Shout out to the gang. I appreciate everybody that's in here. Hey, if you rob a bank, it's okay, as long as you give the money away. Is that where we're at? I guess so. We're going to go ahead and get up out of here. I appreciate y'all. Thank y'all so much for the love. We are going to be dropping some more videos as we go throughout the afternoon and into this weekend. So make sure y'all stay tuned. If you're dealing with this crazy weather that we're about to get, definitely we'll be praying for you. Hopefully y'all stay safe and stay warm. As always, you know what to do. Y'all keep growing, keep pushing, Hey, and thank y'all for the conversation. Shout out to Glenn. Listen, I love being able to have genuine differing view conversations. I think that makes this show interesting. I think that's what helps move the conversation forward. At the end of the day, we don't have to be right, but I think having the dialogue, understanding different perspectives is so important. We're going to continue to do that here. Thank y'all for keeping it respectful as well. Y'all know what to do. We gone. Peace. Appreciate y'all. Thank you, Noah. Thank you.